Hello, this is Eileen, the environmental educator, and today we're going to talk about this guy up there in the north, Mr. Justin Trudeau out of Canada. And he used to, get press about the environment. These days, he's getting press about a few other things. But Justin's out there claiming he's all, everything we can do for the environment. I mean, we have to. We've got to give our kids a future. And he, like everybody else, talks a good game, but is he really what he says he is? No, I can assure you of that. How do I know? Because, after listening to him, I'd hear on October 22nd, 2019, this is my first email to him. I'm like the environmental 911 call the world needs. You know, Nobody will allow it, and this is what we need to do. How about leading? The world needs it. If not Project Veritas, Tiffany Fitzhenry, she was getting a lot of press. She's gone silent. She was exposing Hollywood. How about exposing the truth that all environmental voices are preventing solutions frauds? And unfortunately for the world, maybe Justin Trudeau and everybody else out there would either shut up about it or step up to the plate and finally let the light years best environmental education and agenda lead the world. But, no thanks to Project Veritas, who absolutely won't step up and let you know that all environmental voices are preventing solutions frauds. But they're on a lot of emails. Yeah, they're right here on this one. And Trudeau's on a lot of emails too. Believe me, since his first email that I sent to Trudeau, he's on my big distribution, not daily, but sometimes daily, many days in a row, till you're like, I don't have the time to just do this every day, beg all of these frauds to, you know, do their job and allow solutions, and then all of the press to do their job, including Project Veritas. But this was Justin's, my first email to Justin, and then here's another one, and then right here on October 24th, 2019, they'd like to acknowledge the receipt of my correspondence to Justin. And please be assured, my comments have been carefully reviewed, but the issues I raised fall within the portfolio of the Honorable Catherine McKenna, Minister of the Environment and Climate Change. So they forwarded my email to her. And I can assure you, I have added her onto my email distribution. And, then I went back to Justin, telling him it's your job. You're the leader. You tell your environmental person that we have actual real solutions. Because what did Justin embark on? He aimed to ban single-use plastics by 2021. And, that sounds good because, oh, great, we're not having single-use plastics, the ocean garbage patch, which I would have prevented if anybody had ended our disposable society back from 93. But, with single-use plastics, he is still having single-use items. Okay. He is not taking away single use items. Everything he is doing is just taking plastic out of the equation, which, yes, okay, we're not going to have the ocean garbage patch and we're not going to have plastic waste, but you are still making a product that has been manufactured, packaged, transported, and it's not plastic waste, but a lot of the stuff he was going to was, a cardboardish type of thing, and maybe even compostable. But you know what? It still went through all of these other gazillion processes for someone to use for one time, for 10, 15, 20 minutes in a lot of cases, instead of just setting up a reusable society. And Justin won't do that. And believe me, it's not like I haven't tried to get the guy to do that. And right here, he says his government would take other unspecified steps to reduce plastic pollution, but just, plastic pollution. It's which obviously I'm for, but this isn't the solution. And here he talks about explaining to his kids that dead whales have plastic bags in their stomach, and how do I tell them that you can find plastics at the very deepest point of the Pacific Ocean? Which yeah, I'm all for not having that. I've tried to prevent it since '93, but it's just single use plastic. We're still having single use items. He has not replaced that. He won't. He won't. He talks a good game, but he won't act. And even right here on October 22nd in 2019, Greenpeace, who hasn't allowed solutions since the 90s, too, I don't even hit them up anymore. Greenpeace. I mean, what have they really done? Not much. Maybe get some press, get some headlines, but do they have real solutions? No, and they won't allow them. I should probably put them on my list, but I don't have room to put the whole world on my list. They won't allow solutions. But they say Trudeau is not doing enough for the climate. We need to seal the deal. And, they could have led a long, long time ago instead of being out there like Extinction Rebellion, who also won't allow solutions. They're out there protesting, and yeah, all the press they get. They're like not protecting our winners, and Bill McKibben at Got Earth to 400 plus. They just go out there and they make a spectacle of themselves standing up against, but all of them prevent the light years best environmental education and agenda on the planet. We need to get people environmentally literate so that they, you know how to and why they should incorporate responsible actions into their life, so they're the solutions. So they, regardless of Justin only wants to lead with ending disposable plastic, the citizens can lead with simply outdoing him and outshining him and working to a much higher level by just ending their disposable lives. And go, really, Justin? That was Mickey Mouse what you were working for, but I'd like to get to the Canadian people, but will Rebel News tell you that Trudeau in Canada and all other environmental voices, Greta, who, they love to mock, but will they tell the world that she's out there screaming for solutions she won't even allow? So no, not even Rebel News won't either. No one will. No one will. But and then we'd end our disposable society. It is the biggest thing to do because the endless manufacturing, packaging, transportation, and disposal processes of all of these disposable single-use items, plastic or not, are our environmental problems. We didn't have environmental problems when we were a reusable world. Before we were disposable, well, the 1960s, it's coming up in an education week of mine. It was a pivotal time, when we went from just reusable and just responsible and people just not abusing things to our disposable society was introduced in our 24-hour, 24/7, just never shut down lifestyle. And but even with that 24/7 lifestyle, we can still just implement real environmental leadership by ending global environmental illiteracy, and then that will gain cooperation and our disposable society. And Justin could be leading with hemp up there, but is he? No. No, actually, the first hemp shirt I bought was up in Nelson, British Columbia. If you ever get the chance, Nelson is a pretty little funky, fun little town, and yeah, I was there at their yearly street party, and this lady, she was selling hemp clothes and hemp stuff, and she was pretty cool. And but will he lead? No, no. He talks about Mickey Mouse stuff. I mean, and in single-use plastics isn't as Mickey Mouse as they come, but it's Mickey Mouse in comparison to everything he's not doing. Okay, I mean, he is talking. Oh, of course, a long-term goal by out to 2030 to reduce carbon emissions, but they're planting trees. They're doing, planting trees is easy. It's easy. But are they asking people, hey, hey, why do you have lights on indoors during daylight hours? Back when we didn't have environmental problems, we didn't do that. Right there. You know what a big impact that would be? So, he is doing some things and Mickey Mouse things, and he was out there celebrating World Environment Day that day, and here's him saying how we must take care of nature and we have to reflect on how we can do so that we leave a cleaner and healthier planet for our kids and grandkids. And let's take action that builds that future. But Justin has very limited action while refusing light years better. Surprise, surprise, like every other fraudulent environmental voice out there. In here on Earth Day 2021, he talks about a cleaner future for everyone. But, he's talking about jobs, and he's talking about net zero technologies to build our clean industrial advantage. And you know what? That's kind of good because so far America's not doing it. I can't get anybody, not even the U.S. Chamber of Commerce, who, but they just had John Kerry, have give some presentation, said we're not doing enough. We've got to step up. We're failures. And the chamber, that's going to be an upcoming video. Again, still, they will not allow solutions. It's funny to them, but you know, this is since 2015, we've been committed to finding real solutions to tackle the climate crisis, while also creating jobs. I don't know what jobs he's created, and strengthening the economy in the middle class. They don't have a growing middle class. They're turning it into third world like America is, because Justin's oh, he's definitely a globalist. He's out there with what he's doing these days. I was like, why does President Snow come to mind when this guy talks? I mean, when you listen to him, you can actually hear like Donald Sutherland talking. So he's he's proven his globalist colors out there. I mean, not that it wasn't kind of obvious before, but he's really digging in deep now to it. But however cool he tries to be about, we need solutions and we got to give the kids, he absolutely, positively just, we can't. Will we ignore climate change or will we act? The simple answer is we need to act now. And October 24th, 2018. And he's still doing something, maybe more than other people like Jay Inslee out there in Washington doing a little bit. But and at least Justin, I don't hear him out there talking about green taxes. Oh, he'll be shoving them down his citizens' throats pretty soon because he's a globalist. But not real solutions, not light years better than what they're doing. That is just not going to happen. I have never gotten a reply past this one, and I could send them 10 emails a day and they never ever would reply again. Just, we told you no. Why are you bothering us? You know what? If he got exposed, well, we all know how that goes, right? If he got exposed, he would step up to the plate. All of them would suddenly step up to the plate. But thank you, Project Veritas, because, you know, exposing the entire environmental industry and presidents and world leaders in the United Nations and Hollywood like you seek and Greta, Redford, Sundance, Bono and his one, Lorraine Powell Jobs, Steve Jobs' wife. I mean, I can expose them all. Environmental voices, Bill McKibben, the NRDC, Bobby Kennedy. Mr. God these days. But you know what? His children's health defense that he's, out there about all these vaccines now, in terms of children's health, literally, their website, I've showed this in other videos. I'll go pull it up now. His known culprits for harming children's health vaccines are out here at the bottom, number 14, yet climate change is number 3. Okay. And yeah, I've done videos about Bobby too. So every environmental voice out there can be exposed, and they would all step up to the plate and be doing light years more, except no one, Rebel News, InfoWars, every independent media out there can't be bothered to expose them. And Project Veritas, keep your line open for valid tips. I can prove all of this. Okay? They just can't be bothered. And yeah, in case you haven't heard the recording that they left me.
Today, Tuesday, January 11th at 6:10 a.m. from 914653612 Duration 10 seconds.
This is Project Veritas. Every time we see your phone number, we just delete your message. So please stop wasting your time, okay? And do get a life.
End of message. To erase this message.
That is Project Veritas. Is that what James O'Keefe portrays Project Veritas to be? And what was that at the end there? How insulting.
Message. So please stop wasting your time, okay? And do get a life.
End of message.
Get a life.
To erase this message.
And do get a life. Okay. So for any of you that think that Project Veritas is what they claim they are, I can assure you they have an agenda, and they do censor a lot of information. And unfortunately, because of that, we keep hearing, people like Justin out there proclaiming that they care, that just leave it to me because, of course, I'm on your side, I'm on my kid's side, but he's not really, and he has a lot of stepping up to do because, as even Greenpeace says, he is not doing enough for the environment, and he certainly isn't. So that's the truth, and just, he's in the news these days. He's out there. Oh, what is he saying? Oh, you know what? Let's listen to some of this. Okay, in both of these clips here, he's going to talk about trusting the science.
Close to 90% of Canadians have done exactly that. The small fringe minority of people who are on their way to Ottawa or who are holding unacceptable views that.
What was that? What was that? I'm sorry.
Holding unacceptable views.
Remember what I said? Yeah, you can just hear Donald Sutherland, President Snow's voice coming out when he's talking these days.
That they're expressing do not represent the views of Canadians who have been there for each other, who know that following the science and stepping up to protect each other.
What was that, Justin? What was that?
Oh, that following the science and stepping up to protect each other is the best way to continue to ensure our freedoms, our rights, our values as a country.
And you know what? That stands too for when they all start imposing all of their climate tyranny, their climate police, their green taxes and carbon taxes. Carbon taxes, what they call them, green taxes, are actually responsible. That's another video. But then Justin also talks about trusting the science here.
I have attended protests and rallies in the past when I agreed with the goals, when I supported the people expressing their concerns and their issues. Black Lives Matter is an excellent example of that. But I have also chosen to not go anywhere near protests that have expressed hateful rhetoric, violence towards fellow citizens, and a disrespect, not just of science, but of the frontline health workers. And
what does he not like? What does he not like?
A disrespect, not just of science, but of the frontline health workers.
Right, disrespecting science and that we need to be doing more, but he won't.
And quite frankly, the 90% of truckers who have been doing the right thing to keep Canadians safe, to put food on our tables.
Okay, so, you know, as he said back here, he supports Black Lives Matter, but not protests that are about hate and violence, which was what Black Lives Matter protests were. And so far, the protests he is out there criticizing, standing up to his tyranny, there's no violence. There's no violence. There's no racism. There's no harm against anyone. And so Justin has that wrong, just like he has not leading the world with all that we should be doing for the environment wrong. Yeah. And that's the name of the video. Follow the science. So that is Justin Trudeau in a heartbeat. And yeah, that's right. Remember,
Today,
we
Tuesday,
always
January
have to do
11th,
this and have to
at
listen to them
6:10 a.m.
because not
from
even
9,
Project
1,
Veritas
4, 6, 5, 3, 6, 1, 2, 3. Duration 10 seconds.
Not even Project Veritas.
This is Project Veritas. Every time we see your phone number, we just delete your message. So please stop wasting your time, okay? And do get a life.
End of message.
That is what
To erase
Project
this
Veritas
message.
thinks about doing their job. Just like Justin Trudeau thinks nothing about doing the real environmental job that's needed. So don't ever believe anything other than that, because that's the truth. And stay tuned. This is the only place you're going to get this truth.